Here we go. The videos for Hymenoptera of North America are both boring and formulaic. Vespid wasps of the genus Polistes are found worldwide. There are 203 described species and about 24 species in North America. All species of Polistes are social, and they make their open aerial nests out of paper. In this video, we will take a closer look at 4 species from North America. Polistes dominula is recently introduced, while Polistes fuscatus, Polistes metricus, and Polistes exclamens are native to North America. The story of the American Polistes begins in 1791, Oringen, Germany, where the naturalist Johann Ludwig Christ published his natural history classification and nomenclature of the bees, wasps, and ants. In it, he described a wasp he called Vespa dominula. Polistes dominula is unmistakable. It has bright yellow markings on a black background. It also has orange antennae. Native to Europe, dominula was first observed in Boston, Massachusetts in 1978. Since that time, dominula has spread across much of North America. The males are similar in coloration to the females. They have longer faces and more yellow on their legs. As a species, dominula appears to favor nesting on man-made structures like awnings and eaves made of various materials. Perhaps this has aided their rapid spread across the U.S. As for their length, both male and female dominula are roughly 14 to 17 millimeters long, a few millimeters longer than worker honeybees. Smaller workers are not uncommon, and the role of the queen is decided among the larger workers. The first American Polistes was described in 1793 in Kiel, Germany, where Professor Johann Fabricius published his additions to his previously published Entomologia Systematica. Among these additions was a description of an American wasp he named Vespa fuscata. Polistes fuscatus is North America's signature paper wasp. Found in many different habitats nationwide, Polistes is a common sight, building their open nests on the overhangs of buildings and other structures that provide refuge from the elements. The males are similar to females, but with much more yellow on their heads and legs. Their antennae are also longer, along with a longer face. Polistes fuscatus is perhaps the most variable in coloration of all the Vespid wasps in North America. 38 years after Fabricius, in 1831 North America, Thomas Say, writing in the Boston Journal of Natural History, described a large dark wasp he named Polistes metrica. Polistes metricus is a dark red or ferruginous wasp with a black abdomen. It can be confused with dark forms of fuscatus, but metricus has no yellow on its thorax and also a black abdomen. It has the look of a thoroughbred racehorse. It also has 2 curved racing stripes on its metanotum, just for style. 75 years after Say, Henry Vierek, sorting through the collection of the University of Kansas in 1906, described a new Polistes species from a single female specimen collected from Hamilton County. He named the new species exclamens. Polistes exclamens is a colorful species. Its main color is a chestnut brown with yellow and black accents. This is the male. Males contribute little to no care of offspring and forage only for themselves. They develop from unfertilized eggs and mate with females when necessary, generally late summer into fall. For identifying Polistes species in eastern North America, there is no better source than the Identification Atlas of the Vespidae of the northeastern Nearctic region. Published in 2008 by Matthias Buck, Stephen Marshall, and David Chung from the University of Guelph in Ontario, it includes 11 species of Polistes and should be your primary resource. If your specimen comes from outside the region covered by Buck et al., then perhaps your best resource is Iowa State University's Bug Guide. It has extensive photographs of all North American species, and browsing through its pages can be very helpful, particularly with a small genus like Polistes. Of course, always keep range maps in mind. Range maps like the ones shown here can be found at Discover Life. Range maps help by eliminating species outside your collecting area. Northern collecting areas have fewer total species. To use Buck's key, you will need to separate your specimens by gender. Males have longer faces. They have that grasshopper look. Females have a rounder, ant-like look. Notice also how the antennae emerge high above in the male, more centrally in the female. Males also have an extra abdominal segment, the 7th, and an 11th flagellar segment. Length can be fairly variable in Polistes. These three species are fairly similar and are on the medium to large size for the genus. Typically, workers range between 14 and 17 millimeters long. Males are similar to the females in length. And remember, the males have no stinger, and they can be found occasionally on flowers where one can impress a bystander by seizing one in one's own bare hand, a gamble only a competent field naturalist should make. Polistes is a colorful group of social wasps, and despite the complicated variability of fuscatus, distinguishing species is a realistic goal. When you separate your specimens into males and females, you should expect to find many more females than males. Males become more numerous later in the season. Well, that should get you started. Good luck. As always, a special thanks go to the internet resources that make these videos possible, including the Biodiversity Heritage Library, Discover Life, and Iowa State University's Bug Guide. Look for them online. Well, cantaloupes on sale.